We want to make Brownsville a place where people want to go and live. Make it a neighborhood of choice instead of convenience, and I think that's coming. Growing up here, I was attending the church as a youngster. As a matter of fact, I taught Sunday school in the church. I never saw myself coming back as pastor. Once I got out of church, that was it. Once I got old enough to leave the church, I was gone forever. But God has ways of working things out. I wound up back here in Brownsville at the Emmanuel Church of God in Christ. My wife and I were out evangelizing, and we ran into some people that were also, if you will, evangelizing, but for a different reason. As it turned out, it was a gentleman by the name of Benji Powers of Neighborhood Housing Services, South Florida. And when Benji and I met, as they say, it was a marriage made in heaven.
At Neighborhood Housing Services of South Florida, what we're working with right now in the Brownsville neighborhood is the creation of sort of a new model of community development in South Florida. Brownsville is an older neighborhood in South Florida, and we're bringing in some new construction homes and also freshening up some of the homes through two different ways. One being the rehabbing of empty homes that have been foreclosed upon, but also helping existing homeowners rehab their homes. Over the past year, we've been involved in surveying the neighborhood to ask residents what do they think about the community, what are their favorite parts, what would get them to stay here longer, what would get them to recommend it to a friend. So that surveying process has been one way through which we've gotten to know a lot of the neighborhood. The church we're in today, Emmanuel Church of God in Christ, is one of the symbols of some new relationships we're forming. It's not the only point of entry, but it is becoming one of our strongest.
There is a issue of prostitution in the area. There's a drug issue. I felt that if we can reach out to the people, that we can effect change in the community of Brownsville. I still hold to that belief, and I believe it will come to pass.
NHS of South Florida has been deeply rooted in the community since its foundation in 1978. Since they're a Neighbor Works of America organization, they follow the broad-based mission that's so important in building sustainable communities, that you don't only build houses and put people in houses, but you provide financial counseling and guidance so that you are helping to build healthy communities.
Finding financial institutions in the community that are willing to sponsor us as we explore that path of finding a more sustainable business operation is important, and Citi has been one of those entities that has stepped up and said that the model that you're creating makes sense. It's different from what has been done in South Florida the past 20 or 30 years. It might be risky in some people's eyes, but it makes sense to invest in today. So their investment has been obviously a huge facilitator for some of our work from just a quantitative perspective, but also many of their staff and board members have been a huge asset as we look for networking throughout South Florida and even just moral support in our work.
Brownsville Transit Village is basically a 5-phase project. The first 4 phases we were involved in the financing, and 2 of them are seniors rental properties, and the other 2 are family. It's about a little over 400 units. Total investment of close to $110 million to build the 400 plus units. There's also parking on site and obviously connectivity to the transit line. Many of the properties that Citi has invested in are focused on green initiatives. The attachment of the transit line to the property enhances that overall green initiative because it's lowering emissions on car travel and providing a very good form of transportation. We're always concerned as we want to lend responsibly. We don't want to overbuild an area. But what we keep finding, particularly in Miami-Dade, is that the demand for good quality, well-run, affordable housing properties is just tremendous.
Hampton House, it used to be a motel in the 1950s when time of segregation. This is the place where the black musicians will come after they play in Miami Beach. And in fact, it became so popular, everyone would like to come to the Hampton House at that time. Hampton House restoration will be a music education, multi-purpose room, and a museum in the lower level. It's been said that Martin Luther King used to frequent the Hampton House. So there is a specific room that will be preserved and will be bring back as exactly like it used to be. Mostly is music. We really want to bring back the music as it was in Brownsville in the past, specific to jazz. But what I hope is that with the Hampton House Restore, with the Transit Village, if we can create some connection like the public space, Brownsville can become once again what it used to be or even better.
My mom, they moved down here from Auburn, Georgia, and they started this business 50 years ago. It's a very good neighborhood, no matter what people think about it. But I have a lot of memories in this neighborhood. When the economy took a real big hit, a lot of dry cleaners went out of business. I didn't lay anybody off. I may have did other little things, maybe cut an hour down here, but I never laid anybody off because I knew how important jobs were. And my employees were here before I got here. I wouldn't leave this community for anything. This community is the reason why we're here. They come in every day and say, we are so glad that you decided to keep this business here, open. We knew your mom, we knew your dad, we knew your aunt, we knew you when you was a little baby. That's dedication. That's a lot of respect. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.